Hello, y'all. Welcome back to the Learning Estheticians podcast. It's Alexis, Big Mama, Rated Legs, your Esty sister, your Esty homegirl, whatever you may call me. I am just somebody that believes that your growth should feel grounded, authentic. It should feel like you. It should feel freeing and not forced. And when I say force, it's not that you don't have to initiate it. It's not like you don't have to start it. It's not like you don't gotta do things on your own. It's that there is a way to make sure your growth feels authentic and it feels like part of you. And that's what we're about here at the Learning Estheticians podcast. It's not just about ingredients. It's not just about protocols and six figure this and six figure that, but it's making sure we deal with the soul of the energy, the inner parts of you, as well as all those good things like ingredients, brands, protocols, and modalities. Okay. Because one thing we believe in here at the Learning Esthetician is that you are a full person. You are not just the esthetician that shows up in the treatment room. You did a whole bunch before you got into the treatment room, and all of that affects how our business operates, how we operate in business, and all those great things there. So, welcome to the Learning Estheticians podcast, and welcome to my fellow life intellectuals. And so, I'm excited about today because it's January, and January's coming to an end. And normally in January, you get all the New Year's resolutions, the gyms are full, everybody's trying to do everything. And I just don't agree with it. I am one of those people that do not believe that just because the clock struck midnight does not mean your life is going to magically reset and somehow let January not have any pressure of December. Like it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't just happen overnight. You have to be a part of it. And I don't believe that the new year starts in January. And that's just a me thing. So if this is something that you want to listen to, stick around, guys, because we're going to go into it. Let's get into it. Get into it.
Gotta find beauty in the flow. The more you know, the more you glow. Take it everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. We're empowered, intentional, doing so care. Elevate, share, get it all right here. Good vibes.
Okay, y'all. So here's what we're diving into today's episode. And I'm so excited for this episode because I just like to be a voice that breaks the noise if nobody has told you, okay? Why? Just because the clock struck midnight. Do you think it's new year, new me, new life, new this, or you have to have the expectation of new and all of this? I know new is shiny and it's promising and it's exciting because you don't even know what's in the new. So it's like, let's get to the new. But just because it's 12:01, the same problems that you had that you left unattended to, or the same dreams, goals, and aspirations that were not met or catered to or strategies are still there at 12:01. But it feels good, don't get me wrong. New Year, happy New Year. Kiss the person you're gonna be with all year. Granted, I've never been with my significant other on the New Year, guy. I have never not been in church on New Year's. I've only not been in church the COVID years. And one year, my sister, her father was a singer, and he was singing down at First Night downtown. And he was like a phenomenal singer, doo-wop and getting it and the soul man. So we went down and saw him and still ended up in church after that. So I have not been in church. I've never was it never not been in church? I've never missed church on New Year's except for the years of COVID, and even then it was virtual. But I'm interested to one day, but I always feel like something's gonna happen. But anyhow, at 12 o'clock, nothing's going to change, Cinderella. You know, like, it's not going to go if anything, I feel like you're more like Cinderella because it's like, we're going into this new year and we got the new shoes, new clothes, new outfit. We're excited. Most people are drinking and doing all these other things, and so they're excited, it's fun. But at 12:01, after we say Happy New Year, if you really sit down and settle it, your money's still the same. We don't get no it's not a refresh, a start over. I would love for the new year that at the end of the year, it wipes out certain things that you get to restart, or maybe you get to pick things, but that's not how it goes. You got to be an active player in it, and you have to stop letting January pressure you to becoming someone overnight. Okay? So let's check in real quick before we get into the meat of it all. How has life been for you lately? Has it been steady? Has it been reflective? Has it been full? Has it been still? We are in a snowstorm. They're calling it Snowmageddon here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And quiet as kept, y'all. I don't I do hate for people that it may negatively affect. It's the same way with COVID. I enjoyed it, the pandemic of the stay still of it all, not the sickness and the sadness and the negative effects it had. I just feel like once a quarter, the world needs to just freeze, and nobody should have to do anything unless you're an essential worker, and they need to work that out a little better too. So, like, in my role, my perfect role, the essential workers are the way they get their schedules is immaculate. Like, you still just have to be essential worker, you know what comes with that, let's be honest. But I want it to be fair in my world. So, once every quarter, I just feel like the whole world should stop, and even if I instituted this in my own life, once a quarter, there's a week I'm just in the house, I do nothing, I do my own lock-in state of emergency situation. It feels different knowing that the whole world's on pause. Yeah. Versus just me. It feels like instead of it's because I feel like when everybody else is going and I'm paused, it feeds into my anxiety, even though and I feel like I still gotta do things and people are still calling you and bothering you and needing you to do things because their world hasn't froze or been on pause. But since everybody's on pause, everybody's just more chill. Like, it's just so different. I just feel like we need this. But how have you been doing? Are you still building? What's this January felt like to you? Are you being honest with yourself about how you feel, how much pressure we put on ourselves at the start of the new year? Because January has a way of making people feel like they're behind, that they don't even have time to breathe. And I've been thinking a lot about time and seasons and how we measure ourselves, especially with the calendar. Every time that calendar flips or changes, we expect a miracle. But that's not it, guys. And if that's what's been daunting on your January, please allow me to tell you to take that off. Take the pressure of January and the new year off and just be. And just be. So, what's been going on in y'all's world? We would love to hear back. You can comment. We love comments on here. You can comment all of our my Instagram, Jess's Instagram, our joint Instagram and TikToks are in the show notes. So DM us, talk to us. We are friendly gals, okay? We love community. This is one of the reasons why we did this. We are community people. We love having a community, a team, people, friends. We are both that way. And that's one of the reasons why we started this. Not only to educate ourselves and you and share what we learn and make sure that we're staying up on it. Because, one of my things stop learning, stop the bag, stop learning, stop the growth, stop learning, stop the opportunity. Share with us, DM us. We're friendly. We're not one of them estheticians that's gonna be like, "Oh, girl, who are you talking to?" You DM me, I'm be like, "Hey, girl. Hey, boo. How you doing? Hey, beautiful. Don't let me think you're gorgeous. Hey, beautiful." Okay? So, I'm excited for this year to get to know all of you guys, but checking in, are you okay? That's one of the first things I like to do before we get into the show. Let's just chill out. Like, this show isn't so formal in a way that I'm sitting here drinking my cucumber chai seed, lemon spring water, okay, and just chilling in a big t-shirt. My hair's not done because we've been in Snowmageddon, and I was already sick, as you could probably hear, before we even got into this. And so I was off from Wednesday to now, and let me tell you this, is beautiful. It's great. But let's get into our next segment now that we've checked in. If you need to check in a little more, you just need somebody to talk to. I'm here. I talk to strangers all the time. That's what we do in our aesthetics field, right? We have 15 for, especially like I talk about my waxers. I have lifelong deep conversations, generic, deep, whatever conversations every 15 minutes once a month. And that's how you keep up with your clients. And we take it a lot. I would love to take in some of you if you need to share. But I'm excited. Let's go and get into this episode. This episode is called Don't Eat the Year. Okay? Don't eat the year. You don't need to try to attack the whole year in January. You don't have to have it figured all out in January because midnight is not a miracle. Okay, Cinderella? And so let's get into my signature segment since this is my first solo episode on the Learning Estheticians 2.0. Okay, the reboot. And my signature segment is called Explicit Content. Okay, explicit content is where you're going to let it out. Okay, we have some real talk where the conversation is always rated Lex and designed to help your soul glow.
Just let your soul glow. Just let it shine through. Yeah. Just let your soul glow.
I want us to slow down for a second. I want to ask you something, and you don't have to answer it out loud if you're around people and you're listening, but answer it in your head or journal. You know, we say this is the podcast where you do need to break out your journal or your notebook or your notes app. Journal it. What, and the question I have for you, what area of your life did you cry silently about last year? More than once, more than twice, repeatedly. What area of your life did you cry silently about last year? Even if it was something that you complained about out loud, but it's something that continued to torment you and you cried about it and you tormented over it and you tossed and turned over it. What was it? Not the dramatic moments, the quiet ones, the ones where you wiped your face after and you kept going or you sucked it all up. And I shouldn't have done that because I'm sick. But you sucked it all up and kept going, you know? Was it money? Was it your health? Was it your body? Was it your business? Was it your faith? Was it a relationship or the version of yourself that, that would materialize by now? That you would be by now? Was it a assumed failure? What area of that? For me, there were areas I cried about where I was not really functioning really well on the outside and I was hurting deeply and quietly on the inside and a little bit more than like I may tell people what's going on, but the way it would bother me and eat me alive is not something I always share. And I think those moments matter more than we admit because it's endurance. And endurance a lot looks like strength and pushing through and ignoring our body and dysregulating our hormones. And until it turns into silence, I think we try to ignore it. We try to ignore it until it turns into silence, but it's the loudest silence ever. And I think January asks us to skip over those moments as if there was a magic wand, just like too quickly, like the calendar flipped. And so it's supposed to wash away your grief, your exhaustion, your disappointment, your unmet expectations. And I don't believe that's how healing or growth actually works. And I know that for a fact that's not how it works because I did. I pushed down the silent tears and it drowned me from the inside out. So, one thing I can leave you with just because you survive something quietly or you're surviving or experiencing something quietly doesn't mean it did not matter. It doesn't mean it does not have effect on you and that's something that you need to take care of. And this time, instead of thinking January is going to bring this new, January gives you 12 more calendar years because, as I said, I do not believe the new year starts in January. January, I think you're supposed to rest. Rest, review, refine, take in things, observe, and then slowly start to enter the year. Because I really believe to go with this season, January and February, or at least those of us that get seasons, hello, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We get snow, we get fall, we get summer, we get Pittsburgh weather, and sometimes we get it all in one day, And so I don't feel like January where we're in the middle of the season when most things are hibernating and there is no new growth. It's being worked. And I really want to get into this'll preach y'all. There's if we pay attention to what the season is doing, we can pay attention to what we are need to be doing, if you ask me. And I'm not no big I know nothing against the woo-woos. I love my woo-woo girls. I'm not big woo-woo. I'm a little woo-woo, but I don't feel like January is where we're supposed to be. Oh, start this new, start this new. Chill. You just came off the hustle and the bustle of the end of the year where holidays ramp up, where emotions ramp up, and you get busy and it's family and it's fun and it can be also daunting and hard for some people. And then I'm just supposed to just start all this new in January? No. Sometimes you just need to pause. So sometime this week, name one thing that hurt you quietly that a little deeper than you may have said, like, oh, that bothered me, but it had some roots and you didn't share how deep those roots of hurt went. And allow yourself to acknowledge it without fixing it at that moment. Just sit in it and feel it and take note of what is happening and how it got to that place or you got to that place and how you feel around that situation. Sometimes awareness is the work. And that's what I wanna leave you with in explicit content, where the conversation is always rated Lex, and our main objective is to have conversations that's gonna let your soul flow. Okay, guys, let's get into the lesson lounge, okay? Come on and hop on the magic school bus because class is in session.
Step inside, it's a wilder ride. Come on, ride on the magic school bus.
Okay, guys, today's lesson is meant to give you clarity around how so many people feel like they fail every year, even when you're genuinely trying. This lesson comes from watching people put unrealistic pressure on January 1st or creating a year's worth of goals, expecting a date to create discipline, motivation, and transformation. It also comes from learning that what we often call goals are really outcomes. And without systems or structure or awareness support either of them, they're really not anything. My hope is that you leave this episode understanding how to get your goals and set your goals in a way that respects your capacity, your nervous system, and not just your ambition. Point number one. So the lesson at the top of the headline, because this is a class and we like to keep it in class format. So it's easy to take in and learn. And we're to learn estheticians, that's our whole thing. So the lesson today is how to create goals that respect your capacity and structures and systems that support that and that'll honor that and that'll help you in your progress. Point number one, what time doesn't create is change. It may age you, but it doesn't create change. Time just if you leave your goals by themselves, things will naturally happen to the world, but your goal, quote unquote, or your outcome that you put into the universe or the atmosphere is not going to change just with time. Just because can have this thought at 11 o'clock. I want to, I don't know, I was going to say be a millionaire, but let's do something more realistic. I want to record 2 new episodes today by midnight. Just because I thought it doesn't mean it's gonna happen, and the time is still gonna keep going. So you have to create things around it. When we say new year, new goals, what we're really doing is attaching the expectation to a date. And at its core, a year is just a measurement of time, not a transformation tool. Change does not come from repetition alone. You repeat something every day and still feel stuck and tired or frustrated. What creates change is that intentional effort applied with awareness and repetition without direction is just pure exhaustion. One of the big things that you need to focus on changing and dealing with is habits. You have these new goals you came in and we so haphazardly do goals. You know, we get together, we do the vision boards, we put the money on there, you put a man on there. But I don't believe in doing vision boards like that. I believe in doing it differently. You know what? I'm gonna have to record another episode where we do like vision boards and a life plan and goal plans because I had to change the way I did this. This is the first year that I really changed my way of approaching the new year. And even though I'm like, oh, I know I got so much going on, so much going on, so much going on. I want to do this. I want to do this by the end of the year. I want to do this by the end of the year. So worried about the end of the year that we're missing so many pivotal steps before we even get to the end of the year. By the time we're saying Happy New Year and doing all these goals and vision boards, we've already tried to get to the next new year. But I am a strong believer in the 12-week year. I decided this year I'm going quarterly. You still should do a nice big dream and big goals and what you want in 5 and 3. I didn't do what I want in 5 years. I don't know. Sometimes it's okay, and then we're forcing goals on ourselves that we don't even know we really want, and so it's unauthentic, it's not aligned, it's not attached, it's not rooted and grounded in us. Point number 2, why? Effort needs direction. This matters because most people don't fail from lack of effort. They fail from misdirection and misdirected effort and no direction, no plan, nothing. You just know what you want. If I go into a store, excuse me, if I go into a store and I know I need to make something, then I know I need to, and I want to make, I don't know, this cake. I know number one, my goal is to make a cake, make a good cake, which is the outcome of a whole bunch of small goals that need to be strategic, that need to make sense, that need to support. I need to go into this aisle and buy this. I need to go in this aisle and buy this. I need to measure things out because I may need a little bit of this, but what if I want to make it something else? It would change what I need, how much I need, and how I need to approach it. So that's the same way I feel with direction. You cannot have misdirected effort. You're going to be exhausted, disappointed, because outcomes are the vision, the dream. Goals are not the dream. Goals are the evidence of the effort. Effort is what you do consistently on purpose, not just what you plan to do or hope to do or say you're going to do or put on the internet that you're doing, okay? A little sidebar, fake content. Be your real content. You know, let's take a little sidebar real quick as I digress because I had to call myself out. I want to become a content creator. The effort to becoming a content creator is a lot. And the same thing about becoming a content creator. I had to understand that I was not putting in the effort to actually do it. I may want this. I may say I want this, but I was not putting in any effort. There was no structure to it, and it's not gonna happen. And then what happens when we set out these dreams as the goal and we don't match them and we don't support them, it's fake. You can't even get to it. It feels hollow. And I'm going back to being a content creator, I wasn't the content yet. I want to be a content creator for the content that wasn't even my real life yet. And so we're so worried about, well, number one, you want to get paid for doing these things. Hallelujah. But we're so worried about putting it out there that you haven't even made it real in a structure and a part of your systems in your life. Okay, now let's get back to the topic at hand. Consistently, you have to do things. Consistently on purpose, you have to do things and not just what you plan to do or what you hope to do. You gotta do it. And when your effort doesn't have structure, it eventually turns into self-blame, pity, disappointment. You upset. You just threw your goal out there, but you didn't put the steps before it. Throwing your goals up into the air aren't going to help you obtain them. You have to build the staircase to get there. And you have to build the stamina to get there. Habits and things like this is a muscle. You have to unlearn a lot of things to become this person that you want to become because each time we set a new goal, It is adding and changing and carving a new detail into the beautiful person that we are, but you gotta work to it. The fact that I wanna lose weight and become a gym girly, I can't be ordering Burgertory 412 tacos, my girl Quiche, my girl Shantae every day. That's not gonna help me lose this belly. I have to change my habits. It's a habit for me that when I'm hungry, I just order. It's a habit for me that I don't decide to put into me learn and understand different ways to eat. When you are putting a goal out there, it's not just to say, this is the goal. You have to look at the person you are. You are your habits and your constant decisions. Does that support what that goal is that you just threw out there? Do you have the capacity to even do that goal? Like, make it make sense. Take off the weight. My goals changed this year because I'm going quarterly. And sometimes your life and the way it is will change how you set your goals. You can't set your goals like everybody else. I don't even believe, like I said, I don't believe in the new year being in January. For me, my new year is my birthday because the new year is putting a measurement as if we all started at the same starting line at 12:01, and we do not. I may be carrying baggage and hurt and this and that while trying to run this race at 12:01 with you, and you're light because 'cause you've already dealt with this before 12:01. So it's not the same race. I cannot measure my life against yours. There are very common standard things, but most times you have to measure you against you first. Point number 3, systems, support, and effort. That's the headline. A system isn't rigid. I had to understand that. Like, I used to be somebody, "Oh, I'm just gonna go with the flow." You can go with the flow to an extent and flow right to hell. Like, you can flow right into the exact type of situation you don't want to be in. You can flow right to despair, or you can flow sometimes into happiness, but that's already because you have set up structure, you have set up the correct support to support this dream, and to support the flow. You can't always flow. We need structure. Even the flow has structure. Look at water. The body of water, which is I love water. There's even structure to water even though it's free. A system isn't rigid, it's supportive. A system answers your questions your tired brain shouldn't have to answer every day. When do I do this? What do I do? When I fall off, how do I return without shame? What's without systems? Every decision costs you energy. And let me tell you something. Without clear systems and standards and understanding, it'll also cost you some money. Okay? Because it has cost me. Throwing my goals up to the air, not changing the person to be in capacity to have those goals and changing my habits and routines and setting structure and standards has not also cost me energy. It has cost me money. It has cost me peace. It has cost me sleep. And that's how burnout will quickly creep in. Okay, little foreshadowing. A good system protects your energy so your effort can actually compound. Next little bullet, reinforcement. Connecting it all when you put all of this together, what you really see is progress isn't about trying harder. Sometimes it's smarter, more strategic. It's about trying on purpose inside a system that actually holds you up. So I hope I said a little something that'll be beneficial to you. And let's do a quick check in. True or false? A new year automatically creates discipline. False. Awareness, efforts, and systems do. And that's one thing I want you to take away today. So let's slide into the glow notes. This is the quick little takeaways and little notes that I want to make sure you have. Taking notes in school, I was never good at taking notes while the teacher was talking because number one, I don't write that fast. I write sloppy. I don't like, and so but I can't keep up. I don't know. I don't write shorthand. So I would record my classes. and then I would try to make sure I have at least the takeaway notes, like the things that I must remember. And if you must remember anything and nothing else, remember this: effort without a system will always cost you more than it gives you. And this too, progress isn't about motivation, it's about clarity. And my last point, a miracle doesn't happen at midnight. Okay, Cinderella. If anything, we're more like Cinderella than we think. Cinderella had this nice old ball. So, you're partying and the clock strikes 12, everything back to pumpkin. Shoes, raggedy, life back to the champagne glasses is gone. Life is still what it is. Miracles don't happen at midnight. Don't try to eat the year. Don't try to attack the whole year. Pause, reflect, refine, review, discuss, be still, observe, be honest, be patient, and build structure. If I can encourage you anyway, don't eat the year. Pick your year. Be the year. So, class is dismissed. And this week, I want you to do a time study for 3 to 5 days. Or you know what? Let's do it a week. Let's do a week. Write down what you do and how long it takes. Literally, you can do this in your app. Start your stopwatch, write down what it was, start, do whatever you're doing. And then when you stop it and write down and see what systems you already have in play and what goals that's actually supporting, what lifestyle that's actually supporting. And after you do that, review it. And then you should get into writing your goals. Take time to rest in January. Breathe in January. Notice what drains you, what gets you delayed, what you avoid, what feels easy to return to, and what feels uneasy to even think about. Return to what you're not fixing. Return to what you've been ignoring. You're not fixing anything just yet. Review it. You just want to collect some data. All right, class is dismissed. Awareness comes before judgment. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let's recap. You don't need to conquer the year. You don't need to eat the year. You don't need to drink the year. You're not Cinderella. And again, midnight didn't change you magically by the stroke of its
Absolutely not.
end. And it
Absolutely
doesn't mean
not.
that you're behind. You get to pick your year. You get to be the year. You get to set the structure that you have the capacity for. Thank you all for sitting with me today on the Learning Estheticians podcast. If this episode spoke to you at all, share it with someone who's been trying to eat the year. And I say eat the year because there's a book called Eat the Frog. I have ADHD. I think it's good to eat the frog, but don't eat the year. Okay? Share it with someone who's been putting too much pressure on January or just themselves in general. And make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you next time on the Learning Estheticians podcast. And as always, everybody get your learn on.
Gotta find beauty in the flow. The more you know, the more you glow. Take it everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. We're empowered, intentional, doing so care. Elevate, share, get it all right here. Good vibes, good time. You know that we're alright. Everybody get your learn on. Everybody get your grow on, go on. Everybody get your shine on. Right here's where it's at all the time. Oh, everybody get your learn on. Everybody get your grow on, go on. Everybody get your shine on. Right here's where it's at, queen shine on.